So far we have learned how to use the compositor to create special filters or manipulating color, and also our outline by normals to get complex outlines in our scene details. But now we will talk about the Komikaze shader. And as you can see, there are many different options that you can use. These are ready to go shaders that can be added directly into the shader editor. Of course, you can configure them, and the one we are interested in is this rocky one. Of course, you have different choices as this one, like the shader verse, that it's got different variations to it. You also have the scribbles, the polka dots, and many other choices. The Komikaze also adds bonus assets, and you can see some of the examples there. Very important, if you're doing comic all the way, you already have your models ready to go, so you can append them from file, those models. So what does this include? Many different goodies. For example, one of the things that I really like, it's the text boxes, like I mentioned before. Why buy this shader? Because it's got a lot of easy to tweak, no UVs unwrapped, and many other good awesome features. You literally just shift A, add it to your shader editor. Rahul Parihar is the creator of these shaders, and he is continually developing new shaders which he posts in his Instagram account. So you may follow him there as doublegum_. Just look at this awesome materials created for November. He's a very skilled artist. Alright, let's get ready to install Komikaze. First go to Edit, User Preferences, and go to Add-ons so we can install it. Whatever you downloaded your version, in my case, I downloaded it here, so I'm copying that location, pasting it here into the navigation window, find the addon.zip, install it, and now you can click and check it. If you're unsure of what you're going to do with it, just click on documentation and it will take you to the Blender Market page. Alright, so we already saw that. I'm going to mark it active, and now I'm going to save my preferences and close this window. In the shader pack, you have scene files which you can drag and drop into Blender and open them to explore how the shaders work. In an empty Blender scene, you can simply drag and then drop your files from your Explorer to Blender. So we have this very awesome scene, and as we can see, the shader only consists of one texture connected to the color input, and this texture, it's the one that we have selected, the object selected and active at the moment. So let me switch to the full render view. It's compiling the shaders down here, you can see that, and from here you can also notice that this is working directly on Eevee. This is important. It only has 16 samples for the viewport. This is important as well. Comic shaders do not need that many samples. They are not noisy, they are very solid colors. Once the scene is loaded, we can see the shader verse shader connected directly to the material. So we have this bitmap texture 001 which corresponds to the map. So just in case you want to see how that texture look, it's just this. On top, the shaders are overlaying their magic by using these dots that look like a halftone pattern from printing, which gives it this very nice appealing look. So you can go dots or lines. I'm going to go down to dots for the shadows. As you can see, this slider relates to that. So if you slide to the left side, you are favoring the dots, and if you slide to the right side, you're favoring the lines. Alright, you can explore any other of the scenes that had been included in this shader pack. So if you open this one, you're going to notice all the shaders that this contains in one single scene, so you can explore them at your own time. So now I want to work with a custom model. So I have this robot, which, you know, it's made of metal texture looking textures. So let's convert him into a golem. I'm going to delete every other connection and every other shader, and I'm only going to leave his textures. So right here, I textured this in Substance Painter, but it doesn't matter what kind of textures you have, it will still be an image texture. So we want to use one of the shaders. So the old method is File, Append, Navigate to where the collection of those shaders are. I'm going to switch here to icon view and then go into collection for the shader pack, And after that, I'm going to locate the rocky shader, which is the one I'm interested in. So I'm going to click append, and now you can use the old method, which is Shift A, groups, and then rocky. But you do remember that we did install the add-on, right? So what is that good for? You can Shift A, come all the way down to Komikaze, and then select rocky. Isn't that neat? It's a straight jump, forward movement, forward thinking. This is just fantastic. Add it straight from the shader editor and do not worry about anything else. So now the shader is compiling in the viewport, and you can see our robot golem. It's ready to go. So let's create an outline. I'm going to create a new material. While I have this guy selected, I'm going to call this my outline. As you can see, let's get rid of this principal BSDF, which activates by default. Shift A, add an emission shader, and we are going to tint it black. And with that, we have my outline, which is after droid material. Droid material is material 0, and my outline is material 1. Remember, computers start counting from 0. So I'm going to add a solidify modifier. I'm going to switch this to 1 because that's the material I want to target. And please do not forget to activate backface culling by going into the materials property. And after that, I'm going to positive offset 1, and now I'm going to play with this thickness parameter. As you can see, it thickens the model. Then come to the normals and mark flip. Once you do that, you already have an outline around your object, and this is known as the backcall outline method. Fantastic. So let's select another object. In this case is the arm. Let's repeat the same operation. I'm going to use 1, flip the normals, go to materials, say material offset to 1. That's the next material after the first one. And now I'm going to play with thickness. If you like, don't forget to activate backface culling. And here it is. It's working just fantastically. Straight out of the box, no fuzz. This is the most fantastic shader pack I've ever seen out there. There are 2 or 3 more, but this one is really easy for beginners. So that's why I'm covering it today. So let's change another option. Shift A, Komikaze, Aqua. And now I'm going to connect it to the surface of the same character, and as you can see, after the shader compiles, you can switch the colors to whatever you want, and it will work straight out of the box. That's what we like. Alright, so let's delete that. What about the parameters? What about the textures? Let's reconnect the rock material. Don't forget to activate backface culling in case you're getting artifacts. And now we're going to connect our previous texture that we mentioned, and we have many slots. By the way, don't forget to follow Rahul Partihar on Instagram at his account bubblegum_. He's the developer of these shaders. So now let's connect the texture to the midtone input. And that means that all of the midtones from these shaders are going to receive my texture. So cool. Fantastic. It looks like he's covered in mud. It is still a stylized look. Now you can play with the factor, you can change cracks, width, and this shader does react to light direction, so keep that in mind. Of course, you need to activate the final render view, EV view, final render, and you can also randomize the hue of the rocks, which makes it even powerful to colorize a comic style shader. So I'm going to change this to a blue golem because the intent in this stylized god scene is that it inherits the blue light. Okay, if you activate a blue light, you're not going to tint the shader. You need to definitely do it at shader level. This is why we're using this color combination. Komikaze is an amazing add-on shader pack, and I strongly recommend it to stylize your own scenes. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to follow more training videos here in the channel. Thank you.